India's struggle with cleanliness is a complex and frustrating issue, and it's about so much more than just people throwing garbage on the street. Sure, the visible litter and overflowing drains are the first things many notice, but the problem runs deeper, way deeper. It's tied into how the country is built, how fast it's growing, and how systems that are supposed to manage public spaces have failed to keep up. People often assume it's just about individual habits or cultural attitudes, but that's only one small part of a much bigger picture. If India really wants to get cleaner, it has to tackle the problem from the top down, not just the bottom up. The first and most obvious reason is sheer overpopulation. India is home to over 1.4 billion people, and that number grows every single day. With so many people packed into cities, towns, and villages, even a small percentage generating waste leads to massive garbage output.
Think of it this way. If just 10% of people in a city of 20 million drop litter, that's still 2 million pieces of trash. Overpopulation strains every part of the system. Garbage collection, sewage treatment, public toilets, and recycling all have to handle far more than they were ever built for. Secondly, the country's infrastructure simply hasn't kept pace with its growth. Many cities still rely on decades-old sewage systems that regularly overflow or break down during heavy rains. Public dustbins are rare in many neighborhoods, and even where they exist, they're often not emptied on time. Rural areas suffer even more. Some places have no waste management services at all. People burn trash or dump it in rivers, not out of malice, but because there's literally no other option. You can't expect people to do better when the system gives them no alternatives. A third factor is weak municipal governance. Local city governments are usually the ones responsible for sanitation and cleanliness, but many of them are underfunded, understaffed, and bogged down by bureaucracy. Decision-making is slow, accountability is low, and even when plans are made, they often get stuck at the implementation stage. Corruption is also a real issue. Funds meant for public toilets, garbage trucks, or sewage upgrades sometimes vanish without a trace. Without strong and efficient local bodies, even the best policies don't reach the ground. Fourth, public awareness and behavior do play a role, but not in the way people think. It's not that Indians are somehow messier than anyone else. It's that in many areas, there's been little exposure to organized waste disposal systems, or what good civic hygiene looks like in practice. In crowded, low-income neighborhoods, people grow up seeing trash on the street as normal. Changing those habits requires more than slogans. It requires consistent education, infrastructure support, and visible leadership. People are willing to keep things clean when they feel their effort makes a difference. Right now, it often doesn't. Another major challenge is India's struggle with informal housing. Slums and unauthorized settlements house millions of people, often without access to proper toilets, drainage, or garbage collection. These areas grow faster than city plans can keep up, and because they're not officially recognized, they don't receive the same services. You can't have a clean city when a huge chunk of the population lives without basic sanitation. This is not about blaming the residents. It's about how urban planning has failed to include them. The sixth issue is inconsistent public policy. India has launched several national cleanliness campaigns, including the well-known Swachh Bharat mission, which did succeed in building millions of toilets and raising awareness. But many of these programs are top-heavy. They start with a bang but lose momentum when it comes to long-term maintenance. Toilets are built but not maintained. Bins are installed but not emptied. Announcements are made. Hashtags trend. And politicians pose for photos with brooms. But the real work of building a functional waste system often gets sidelined. And finally, there's the cultural relationship with public space. In many places, there's a strong distinction between private and public cleanliness. People sweep their homes spotless but toss trash outside. There's a mindset that what's outside the front door isn't their responsibility. This isn't unique to India. Many countries have gone through the same phase in their development.
But shifting that perspective takes time, trust in public institutions, and visible proof that clean public spaces are worth maintaining. India's cleanliness challenge is real, but it's not hopeless. It's not about lecturing people to stop littering. It's about creating the conditions where cleanliness is possible, practical, and shared. That means fixing infrastructure, empowering local governments, including informal settlements and urban planning, and making sure public policy survives beyond election cycles. People care, communities care, but they need support.
Clean streets don't start with shame, they start with systems.